Shabbat Shalom. Korach is the rebellious cousin of Moses and Aaron, whose name is the title of this week's Torah portion. God has just decided that the generation of Israelites who had left Egypt were not worthy of entering and possessing the land of Canaan. Instead, that generation would spend 40 years in the wilderness, and there they would die. It's not surprising, then, that some of Israel's leaders and leading families would pick a fight with Moses and Aaron, and would attempt to wrest the leadership away from them. The challenge is Rav Lachem. You, Moses and Aaron, have too much. You've gone too far. What is it that Moses and Aaron have in excess, have too much of? It would appear that Korach and his cohort seemed to believe that Moses and Aaron had assumed too much power, too much prestige. Umadua titnasu al kahal Hashem. Who appointed you, Moses? Who appointed you, Aaron, to be our leaders? Who gave you the authority to appoint only Aaron and his sons to the priesthood? After all, Korach argued, Ki kol ha'edah kulam kedoshim. The entire people, not just you, Moses and Aaron, are a holy people. On the surface, Korach seems to be arguing for a more equitable distribution of power and prestige among a larger cohort of the population. But the Israeli philosopher Yeshayahu Leibovich saw something more subtle and more pernicious in Korach's challenge. The claim by Korach that Ki kol ha'edah kedoshim, that all the people were holy, was that all of Israel had achieved the ultimate goal and purpose of the Torah. So what is the ultimate goal and purpose that God had in mind for the people of Israel? The book of Exodus spells it out clearly. Sanctity, holiness, Kedusha was the goal. God challenges us in Leviticus by saying, Kedoshim tihiyu, you shall strive to become holy. Indeed, before receiving the Ten Commandments, God even tells Moses that the Jewish people will be Mamlechet Kohanim ve'am kadosh, a nation of priests and a holy nation. Now, Korach's demagoguery is exposed. Holiness is no longer a goal. It had already been achieved. Now that everyone had achieved holiness, now everyone was equally eligible to be the leader of the people of Israel. Why then were Moses and Aaron continuing to rule Israel autocratically? Leibovich sees Korach's challenge to Moses and Aaron as a subtle challenge to received values and ethics in contemporary society. A contemporary smugness, a sense of self-satisfaction, a reliance on the motto, you get what you see, take me as I am, undermines a religious quest in which every human being always strives to become a better person. Central to Judaism is the effort to achieve Kedusha, sanctity and holiness. The purpose of the mitzvot is to provide us with concrete behaviors that raise our consciousness and direct us to a higher, more refined state of personal holiness or Kedusha. By contrast, a midrash imagines Korach as mocking the mitzvot. The last mitzvah in the previous parsha is the commandment to attach ritual fringes, tzitzit, to the corners of any four-cornered garment. On each corner of the cloak or shawl, one of the fringes is supposed to be blue rather than white. Korach asks, according to the Midrash, that if one blue fringe suffices to exempt all the other fringes from being blue, should not an entirely blue tallis exempt the talit from ritual fringes at all? Of course, the function of the ritual fringes, or tzitzit, is to remind us of all the other mitzvot. If Korach is challenging Moses by saying that the Israelites had already received and achieved Kedusha, he is actually challenging Moses and God by saying that the Israelites no longer need tzitzit to remind them of all of the mitzvot. The inherent danger in Korach's rebellion is not so much the rebellion against authority or even a demand for personal autonomy, as it is a challenge to the idea of self-satisfaction and smugness, that we are all just fine the way we are, and that there is no reason for us to continue to strive to become better. The reality is that we have not achieved Kedusha, that Korach was arrogant and displayed exceptional hubris when he claimed Ki kol ha'am kedoshim, that all of the people had already achieved holiness. Indeed, the response to Korach, and by extension to us today, is that if we hope to become a nation of priests and a holy nation, as God had hoped, we must continue to strive to put forth a personal and collective effort in responding to God's challenge, Kedoshim Tiyu, become holy. The Jewish response to that divine challenge is to strive to observe the commandments of the Torah, both those between us and God, the ritual commandments, and those between us and our fellow human beings, the ethical commandments. That's our challenge, and so it remains. Amen.